For this week's project, I started off by cutting an oversized piece of MDF with my worm drive saw, and as I was cutting it to its final dimensions on my table saw, the locking lever on my riving knife broke, which forced me to go back to my worm drive saw and cut another piece of MDF to its final dimension. Using a combination square, a straight edge, my large Johnson Johnny square, and of course a few clamps, I set up the guide that my router will ride up against when I cut the dados to accept the track, measuring 12.5 inches from the edge, and with my router set up the way it is, that'll put the dado 9 7/8 of an inch from the edge. To cut the shorter dados, I set the combination square to 14.5 inches. That'll place the dado 11 5/8 from the edge. After I checked that the guide was 90 degrees to the edge, I checked that it was 90 degrees to the dado I already cut, and it was. I also used that square as a stop for my router, just to make sure I didn't go too far when I cut the shorter dados. With the dados cut, it was time for me to lay out the top. From each side of the longer dados, I measured 4 inches away from the edge of the slot and drew a reference line. To find center, I went from corner to corner across the entire top and 2 additional areas just to give me more reference points to line up my straight edge. Maybe not necessary, but it didn't hurt. With the center found, I then laid out where the center line intersected the lines I drew 4 inches off the longer dados. I then measured and marked where I wanted the holes to be. For me, I wanted 4 inches on center. I laid out the sides closest to the edge first and used those as a reference to lay out the ones in the middle. After everything was marked, I used my center punch where the lines intersected just to give my Forstner bit a starting point. And then I drilled 28 holes. To get a really shiny finish on the top, I placed the MDF in the sun along with the paste wax for maybe about 10 minutes. This made the wax go on very easily, and the MDF absorbed it very quickly. I added 3 coats and buffed each coat out by hand. Kinda wish I would have bought one of these before doing all that, but I can say I'm very pleased with how the top looks because I looked at it for quite a while buffing it out. I added a little thread lock before securing the fender washer to the bolt with a nut. Once that was done, I had a nice portable worktop. I honestly couldn't be happier with how this turned out. I have some ideas on how to improve my next version, so keep an eye out for that video, but honestly, that will be for a while. Now the holes may not be perfectly vertical, but then again, I'm not building a large hadron collider on it, so I think it'll be okay for my purposes. As for demoing the track, well, this may come as a shocker to some, but I do not own any clamps to show that in action right now, and I do apologize for that. So on that note, if you have any questions or comments about this week's project, please feel free to leave those below and I will address them when I can. As always, thanks for watching, and until next time, take care and have a good one.